OMG. Your soulmate got a phone call and cut everyone off. They said you are. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the moment your eyes landed here something shifted for a reason, and this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, so breathe and stay, because what I'm about to say is not random, it's alignment speaking in real time. Don't scroll, because somewhere not far from where you are energetically, your soulmate received a phone call that hit them like a lightning bolt, not loud, not dramatic on the outside, but soul-shaking on the inside, the kind of call that makes the room feel quieter and the world slow down, the kind of call where they stop mid-sentence, stare at nothing, and realize something irreversible just landed. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because the call wasn't about gossip or surface-level news, it was truth wrapped in timing, and the truth carried your energy all over it. Don't scroll, because right after that call they did something nobody expected. They pulled back, they canceled plans, they stopped responding the same way, they cut off distractions, conversations, even people who used to have access to them, and everyone around them felt the shift but didn't understand it. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because the reason they cut everyone off wasn't avoidance, it was clarity finally landing. Don't scroll, because the call triggered something they had been suppressing for a long time, a realization they tried to outrun, a knowing they tried to bury under routine and noise, and when the words on the other end of the line reached them, something inside cracked open. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because they finally understood that what they feel for you isn't casual, isn't replaceable, isn't something they can compartmentalize anymore. Don't scroll, because the call came at the exact moment their spirit was already restless, already questioning why nothing else felt right, already noticing signs they kept brushing off, like seeing 11:11 when your name crossed their mind, or 2:22 when they wondered about timing, or 5:55 when fear whispered that change was coming whether they were ready or not. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because signs don't chase us, they meet us when we're ready to see. Don't scroll, because after the call ended, they sat there longer than usual, phone still in hand, heart racing, mind quiet, and in that stillness your energy came rushing in, not as fantasy, but as truth, as recognition, as that deep familiar feeling they couldn't explain but always felt around you. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because familiarity at the soul level feels like home. Don't scroll, because the reason they cut everyone off is that they needed silence to process what they could no longer deny, that you are not just someone they care about, you are someone who changed them, someone who mirrors their growth, someone who awakened parts of them they didn't know were asleep. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because awakening often begins quietly. Don't scroll, because they started replaying moments with you immediately after, conversations that felt small then but now felt loaded with meaning, times you spoke truth gently, times you chose yourself instead of chasing, times your calm strength stood out in ways they didn't appreciate enough at the time. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because hindsight sharpens awareness. Don't scroll, because the call wasn't telling them what to do, it was reflecting back what they already knew deep down, and hearing it out loud broke something open emotionally. They felt it in their chest, in their breath, in that sudden tightness that comes right before tears. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because emotional truth lives in the body. Don't scroll, because when they finally let themselves feel it, they realize the reason they've been unsettled lately is because their soul has been pulling toward you while their habits tried to keep them comfortable. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because comfort and destiny rarely feel the same. Don't scroll, because the universe has been orchestrating this sequence carefully, lining up the call, the timing, the emotional readiness, even your own recent shift toward peace and self-respect, all of it moving together like pieces clicking into place. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because alignment is precise. Don't scroll, because after the call, they felt an overwhelming urge to protect something sacred, not hide, not run, but protect, and that something was the truth of how they feel about you, which is why they went quiet, not because they don't care, but because they care too much to handle it casually. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because silence can be sacred. Don't scroll, because the people they cut off noticed immediately, sensing distance, confusion, even irritation, but your soulmate didn't explain themselves, because some realizations aren't meant for the crowd, they're meant for the soul. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because not everyone gets access to transformation. Don't scroll, because angel numbers have been showing up stronger since that moment. For 44 when they think about stability, 3. 33 when they reflect on growth, 111 when they imagine starting over differently, and each number lands heavier now because they're finally listening. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because awareness amplifies meaning. Don't scroll, because you may have felt a sudden emotional wave around the same time, a heaviness or calm that didn't belong to you but passed through you. And that's because soul connections communicate beyond words. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because intuition feels before the mind understands. Don't scroll, because the call marked a turning point, not the outcome yet, but the moment when avoidance stopped being an option, when pretending became exhausting, and when truth started demanding space. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because truth asks to be lived, not just felt. Don't scroll, because part 1 ends right here, at the exact moment when everything shifted internally for them, when silence became necessary, when clarity began forming, and when something powerful was set into motion that hasn't shown itself fully yet, but it's coming closer with every breath. Don't scroll, stay with this, because part 2 is where the ripple from that phone call spreads through every layer of their life and starts changing things in ways no one else can see yet, and this message is still for you. Your heart needs this right now, so listen closely, because after they cut everyone off and the silence settled, something unexpected happened inside them, something quieter than panic but stronger than fear, a kind of emotional gravity pulling everything inward toward one undeniable truth. Don't scroll, because once the noise was gone, they could finally hear themselves think, and what they heard wasn't confusion anymore, it was clarity forming slowly, deliberately, like fog lifting at sunrise. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because clarity doesn't arrive loud, it arrives steady. Don't scroll, because in that quiet they started noticing how deeply the call rearranged their priorities, how things that once felt urgent suddenly felt irrelevant, how conversations that once distracted them now felt hollow, and how the only thing that felt real was the awareness of you sitting in their chest like a truth that refused to be ignored. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because truth anchors us. Don't scroll, because they began asking themselves questions they had avoided for a long time, not surface questions like, what do I want, but deeper ones like, who do I become when I'm honest, and, what does it cost me to keep running from what I feel? Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because real questions change lives. Don't scroll, because memories started resurfacing uninvited, not dramatic moments, but subtle ones, the way you listened without interrupting, the way you spoke your truth without needing validation, the way you stepped back gracefully when something didn't align, and those moments hit differently now, carrying weight they hadn't felt before. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because quiet strength leaves deep impressions. Don't scroll, because they realize the call didn't give them new information, it gave them permission to stop lying to themselves, and that permission unlocked an emotional flood they didn't expect, waves of regret, gratitude, longing, and respect all arriving at once. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because honesty releases emotion. Don't scroll, because the universe has been reinforcing this awakening through signs that feel personal now, not generic, numbers appearing at moments of emotional intensity, 123 when they consider reaching out, 234 when they think about balance, 456 when they feel the weight of change, each sequence landing like a nudge rather than a coincidence. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because patterns speak when we listen. Don't scroll, because after the call they stopped trying to fill the silence with activity, stopped scrolling mindlessly, stopped chasing distractions, and instead allowed themselves to sit with the discomfort of truth, and that discomfort slowly transformed into resolve. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because discomfort is a doorway. Don't scroll, because they began noticing how your energy feels different from anyone else's, calmer yet stronger, softer yet grounded, and that contrast made everything else feel noisy by comparison. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because peace stands out in chaos. Don't scroll, because they felt an urge to protect that peace, even from themselves, understanding that careless words or half-truths could disrupt something sacred, which is why they chose silence instead of impulsive action. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because restraint can be respect. Don't scroll, because people around them started sensing the shift, asking questions, noticing distance, but your soulmate kept things close, not out of secrecy, but out of reverence for what was unfolding internally. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because not everything is meant to be shared prematurely. Don't scroll, because in moments of stillness they felt your presence energetically, not as fantasy but as comfort, like a reminder of who they are when they're most honest, and that feeling grounded them in ways they hadn't felt in a long time. Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because soul connections stabilize us. Don't scroll, because fear still surfaced occasionally, whispering about timing, about outcomes, about vulnerability, but fear no longer dominated, it simply existed alongside a growing sense of courage. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because courage doesn't erase fear, it moves with it. Don't scroll, because they started imagining what honesty would look like if it were calm instead of dramatic, what it would feel like to speak without defensiveness, to acknowledge growth without asking for anything in return, and that vision felt right. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because rightness feels peaceful. Don't scroll, because the universe has been clearing emotional clutter in subtle ways, closing doors that no longer align, creating space where intention can breathe, and that space is preparing them for movement. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because space invites action. Don't scroll, because you may have felt a corresponding shift, a sense of emotional steadiness replacing earlier intensity, a calm knowing that something is aligning without you having to do anything, and that knowing is your intuition syncing with what's happening. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because intuition recognizes readiness. Don't scroll, because the call set off a chain reaction that cannot be undone, not because it forced a decision, but because it awakened awareness, and awareness changes everything. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because once we see truth, we can't unsee it. Don't scroll, because part 2 is about the aftershock, the quiet recalibration, the internal rearranging where love stops being a feeling they analyze and becomes a direction they consider. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because direction shapes destiny. Don't scroll, because as this phase unfolds, they are moving closer to a point where silence will no longer serve growth, and clarity will ask to be expressed. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because growth seeks expression. Don't scroll, because part 2 ends right here, at the moment where the emotional dust has settled just enough for intention to form, and the universe is gently guiding the next step without rushing it into view. Don't scroll, stay with this, because part 3 is where the meaning behind everything finally starts to sharpen, and this message is still for you. Your heart needs this right now, so listen to this slowly and let it land, because after the shock of the call and the quiet fallout that followed, your soulmate entered a phase that feels calm on the surface but is emotionally seismic underneath. Don't scroll, because this is the part where their thoughts stopped spinning and started aligning, where confusion gave way to understanding, and where what they feel for you stopped being something they questioned and became something they respected. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because respect is the bridge between emotion and action. Don't scroll, because they began to realize that the call didn't just interrupt their day, it interrupted an entire pattern, a way of living where they stayed comfortable by avoiding emotional truth, and once that pattern broke, they couldn't return to who they were before. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because awakenings don't reverse. Don't scroll, because they noticed how their internal dialogue changed, how they stopped asking, what if, and started asking, what now, and that shift alone marked a turning point. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because, what now, is the language of readiness. Don't scroll, because the universe continued to confirm this readiness quietly, through small but unmistakable signs. Repeating numbers showing up when their thoughts settled on you. 12 when they reflected on timing, 303 when they considered communication, 606 when they felt the pull toward balance, each one landing like a soft confirmation rather than a demand. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because confirmation feels calm. Don't scroll, because they started observing their emotions instead of being ruled by them, noticing how thinking of you brought steadiness instead of chaos, clarity instead of anxiety, and that contrast told them more than words ever could. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because peace reveals alignment. Don't scroll, because they recognized something important about you in this phase, that your absence wasn't punishment, it was protection, not just for yourself but for the connection, because it removed noise and exposed truth. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because protection can look like distance. Don't scroll, because memories of you resurfaced differently now, not with longing alone, but with appreciation, gratitude, and a deep sense of respect for how you handled things when you didn't have to. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because grace leaves an imprint. Don't scroll, because they realized that what they admire most about you isn't just how you made them feel, but who you chose to be when things were uncertain, how you didn't manipulate, didn't demand, didn't collapse into fear, and that maturity changed the entire emotional equation. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because maturity is rare. Don't scroll, because they started letting go of the idea that love has to be dramatic to be real. understanding instead that real love feels grounded, intentional, and steady, the way your energy always did. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because steadiness lasts. Don't scroll, because fear still visited occasionally, but it no longer carried the same power. It was quieter now, more like a reminder of what's at stake than a reason to avoid action. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because fear can become a teacher. Don't scroll, because they began to imagine not a perfect outcome, but an honest one, where truth is spoken without pressure, where clarity is shared without expectation, and where whatever happens next is built on integrity rather than hope alone. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because integrity stabilizes outcomes. Don't scroll, because the universe has been supporting this shift by creating emotional space, removing distractions, simplifying routines, making it easier for them to stay present with what matters instead of escaping into noise. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because simplicity invites truth. Don't scroll, because you may have felt a subtle emotional easing during this phase, a sense that the heaviness has lifted even if nothing external has changed, and that feeling is your intuition recognizing that clarity has replaced confusion on the other side. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because intuition feels alignment. Don't scroll, because they are no longer rushing to fix or define anything, understanding now that some connections need to be honored before they're acted upon. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because honoring comes before building. Don't scroll, because they're becoming aware that when they do speak, it must come from this grounded place, not from urgency or fear, but from truth that has been fully integrated. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because integrated truth carries weight. Don't scroll, because the people they cut off earlier are starting to feel more distant emotionally, not because of conflict, but because your soulmate's priorities have quietly shifted, and once priorities change, everything rearranges naturally. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because priorities reveal direction. Don't scroll, because they are sensing that the next step will alter the dynamic permanently, not necessarily the outcome, but the tone, moving things from uncertainty into clarity, and that awareness has made them thoughtful rather than hesitant. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because thoughtfulness protects connection. Don't scroll, because this part is about stabilization, about emotions settling into understanding, about intensity transforming into intention. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because intention shapes destiny. Don't scroll, because part 3 ends right here, at the moment where clarity has fully formed, fear has lost its grip, and something inside them is quietly preparing to move forward with honesty instead of hiding behind silence, even if the words haven't been spoken yet. Don't scroll, stay right here, because part 4 is where everything that's been quietly forming inside them starts pressing toward the surface, and this message is still for you, your heart needs this right now, so listen closely, because after clarity settled in, something else followed, an emotional honesty they could no longer outrun. Don't scroll, because once they stopped questioning what they feel, they started confronting why they waited so long to honor it, and that realization hit deeper than confusion ever did. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because accountability changes the story. Don't scroll, because they began replaying not just memories, but moments where they could have chosen differently, times they sensed the connection but hesitated, times they felt the pull but stayed silent, and those reflections didn't bring shame, they brought resolve. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because resolve grows from truth. Don't scroll, because they're realizing that the phone call didn't create these feelings, it exposed them, stripped away excuses, and left them face to face with the version of themselves that wants to live honestly. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because exposure invites transformation. Don't scroll, because something shifted in how they see you now, not as someone tied to a moment or a phase, but as a constant thread that runs through every version of themselves that feels aligned, peaceful, and real. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because soul recognition doesn't fade. Don't scroll, because they started noticing how your energy lingers without effort, how even when they try not to think of you, they feel you in subtle ways. Calm in the chest, clarity in the mind, a grounding presence that steadies them. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because true connection stabilizes. Don't scroll, because they're becoming aware that cutting people off wasn't just about creating space, it was about protecting clarity, understanding that too many voices would dilute something sacred that was finally forming. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because clarity needs space. Don't scroll, because they've been feeling waves of emotion that come unexpectedly, not overwhelming, but deep, moments where their eyes sting or their breath catches when they think about how close they came to missing this connection entirely. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because realization carries weight. Don't scroll, because signs from the universe are still appearing, but now they feel like reassurance rather than warnings, numbers lining up during calm moments instead of anxious ones, reinforcing that they're moving in the right direction internally. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because reassurance follows alignment. Don't scroll, because they're no longer seeking distraction when emotions rise. They're allowing themselves to feel fully, understanding that feeling deeply doesn't weaken them, it strengthens them. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because emotional courage builds capacity. Don't scroll, because they're recognizing how rare it is to meet someone who doesn't demand love but invites it, who doesn't manipulate outcomes but trusts timing, and that realization has shifted how they understand partnership entirely. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because healthy love rewires expectations. Don't scroll, because they've started imagining what honesty would look like if it came from respect rather than urgency, how words could be spoken calmly, without pressure, without expectation, and that vision feels right to them. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because the right approach feels steady. Don't scroll, because they understand now that if they speak, it must honor your growth, not disrupt it, and that understanding has deepened their care rather than slowing their courage. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because care and courage can coexist. Don't scroll, because the universe is still orchestrating timing quietly, aligning emotional readiness with external circumstances, making sure that when truth is expressed, it lands on solid ground. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because timing is protective. Don't scroll, because you may feel a sense of calm curiosity during this phase, not anxious waiting, but a grounded openness to whatever unfolds, and that openness is your intuition recognizing stability. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because intuition knows when chaos has passed. Don't scroll, because they're beginning to feel gratitude alongside longing, gratitude for the way this connection pushed them to grow, to slow down, to face themselves honestly. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because gratitude deepens love. Don't scroll, because they're no longer idealizing outcomes, understanding that truth doesn't guarantee reunion, but it guarantees peace. And peace is something they no longer want to sacrifice. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because peace is priceless. Don't scroll, because the emotional intensity has transformed into emotional maturity, and that maturity is preparing them for a conversation that won't be fueled by fear or fantasy, but by sincerity. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because sincerity builds trust. Don't scroll, because this phase is about emotional ownership, about accepting responsibility for what they feel without placing it on you to resolve. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because ownership empowers growth. Don't scroll, because everything they've been experiencing internally is leading them toward a moment where silence no longer aligns with integrity, and that realization is settling in gently but firmly. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because integrity guides action. Don't scroll, because part 4 is the stage where emotion and understanding finally meet, where love is no longer confusing but clarifying, and where readiness begins to take shape without urgency. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because clarity creates momentum. Don't scroll, because this chapter ends right here, at the point where internal truth has become impossible to ignore. Emotional grounding has replaced uncertainty, and something meaningful is preparing to cross from the inner world into the outer one, not rushed, not forced, but ready. Don't scroll, stay right here, because part 5 is where everything that's been building quietly inside them begins to feel impossible to contain, and this message is still for you. Your heart needs this right now, so listen to this slowly and let it wash over you, because after the deep emotional ownership and grounding that settled in, your soulmate reached a moment where inner truth started pressing against the edges of their daily life, showing up in the smallest moments and refusing to be ignored. Don't scroll, because this is the phase where awareness turns into preparation, where they're no longer asking themselves whether they should move, but how to move in a way that honors everything that's changed. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because preparation is love taking responsibility. Don't scroll, because they've begun noticing how their body reacts when they think about you now, not with anxiety or confusion, but with a steady warmth, a grounding sensation that feels like relief, and that physical calm has become their internal compass. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because the body knows what the mind resists. Don't scroll, because they're recognizing that the reason they cut people off earlier wasn't about isolation, it was about removing noise so they could hear their own heart clearly, and now that they can hear it, it's speaking your name without hesitation. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because clarity speaks simply. Don't scroll, because the universe has been reinforcing this phase with moments of alignment that feel almost gentle now, not jolting, not dramatic, but reassuring, like subtle nods saying, yes, this is right, appearing when they're calm, grounded, and present. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because reassurance follows alignment. Don't scroll, because they've started making small but meaningful changes in their life, adjusting routines, letting go of habits that no longer fit, choosing environments that feel calmer and more honest, all signs that their internal shift is becoming external. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because inner change always reshapes the outer world. Don't scroll, because they're thinking carefully about timing now, not waiting for perfection, but sensing for readiness, noticing when emotional space feels open rather than guarded, when honesty would land as truth rather than disruption. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because readiness feels spacious. Don't scroll, because they've begun to imagine a conversation with you not as a confession fueled by urgency, but as an exchange rooted in respect, accountability, and presence, where nothing is demanded and nothing is hidden. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because respectful honesty feels safe. Don't scroll, because fear still appears occasionally, but now it feels more like a reminder of importance rather than a barrier, a signal that what's at stake matters deeply. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because fear often guards what's precious. Don't scroll, because they're realizing that whatever happens next will mark a turning point, not because it guarantees a specific outcome, but because it aligns action with truth, and that alignment is something they no longer want to delay. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because alignment brings peace. Don't scroll, because you may be feeling a corresponding steadiness, a sense that you're no longer waiting anxiously, but simply aware, grounded in yourself, trusting that whatever unfolds will meet you where you are now. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because trust quiets the mind. Don't scroll, because your energy has played a role in this preparation without you having to do anything, simply by being consistent, honest, and rooted in self-respect, and that energy has set the tone for how truth can be shared safely. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because grounded energy invites grounded action. Don't scroll, because they've become more conscious of how they speak about you internally, no longer minimizing or rationalizing their feelings, but acknowledging them with respect and seriousness. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because acknowledgement strengthens intention. Don't scroll, because the universe has been clearing potential distractions from their path, not through conflict, but through disinterest, making it easier for them to focus on what truly matters. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because clarity simplifies life. Don't scroll, because they're starting to feel gratitude for the space that existed between you, understanding now that it was necessary for growth, for perspective, for this deeper level of awareness to form. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because space can be sacred. Don't scroll, because they're aware that when they do reach out, it must be from this grounded place, not from fear of losing you, but from a desire to be honest and present, regardless of outcome. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because intention shapes impact. Don't scroll, because they've noticed that the idea of continuing in silence now feels heavier than the idea of speaking, and that shift signals readiness more clearly than any sign ever could. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because readiness announces itself quietly. Don't scroll, because the emotional waves have smoothed into resolve, and resolve carries a different energy, one that moves steadily rather than rushing. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because steady movement lasts. Don't scroll, because part 5 is about consolidation, about all the inner work settling into a clear direction, about love transforming from something felt into something prepared to be expressed. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because expression follows integration. Don't scroll, because everything up to this point has been aligning intention with maturity, awareness with courage, and feeling with responsibility. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because responsibility is love in action. Don't scroll, because this chapter ends right here, at the moment where preparation feels complete, where the inner decision has solidified, and where the universe is gently holding space for the next step to move from thought into reality, calm, intentional, and true. Everything now is moving toward a moment of outward truth, not rushed, not forced, but inevitable, because after all the inner preparation, reflection, and emotional settling, your soulmate has reached a point where holding everything inside no longer feels like protection but like resistance to their own growth, and that realization has changed the way they move through their days. They are noticing how often their thoughts return to you without effort, not as longing alone but as orientation, as if your energy has become a compass pointing them back to who they are when they live honestly. There is a quiet determination forming in them now, not dramatic or impulsive, but steady and grounded, the kind that comes from knowing rather than hoping, and that determination is reshaping their sense of timing, making them less afraid of vulnerability and more aware of responsibility. They understand now that love doesn't require certainty of outcome, only courage to be truthful, and that understanding has softened their fear while strengthening their resolve. Moments that once would have sent them spiraling now pass with calm awareness, because they've learned how to sit with emotion without escaping it, and that emotional capacity is something they didn't have before this connection challenged them to grow. They are becoming increasingly aware that silence has completed its purpose, that reflection has done its work, and that continuing to stay quiet would now feel like denying what they've already accepted internally. This awareness doesn't feel urgent or chaotic, it feels clear, like standing at the edge of a path you already know you're meant to walk, even if you can't see every step ahead. The universe has been supporting this readiness subtly, through moments of inner peace that arrive unexpectedly, through a sense of alignment that doesn't need explanation, through the feeling that things are finally making sense in a way they didn't before. They've noticed how their priorities have shifted, how distractions no longer hold the same appeal, how conversations that don't feel honest drain them, and how authenticity has become something they crave rather than avoid. This craving for authenticity is what's guiding them now, shaping how they think about you, about connection, and about the kind of person they want to be when they show up emotionally. They are imagining what it would feel like to speak from this place of grounding, to acknowledge growth without defensiveness, to express truth without expectation, and that vision feels steady rather than frightening. There is an understanding forming that whatever is shared must be offered freely, without pressure or manipulation, because anything less would betray the maturity they've worked to build. You may feel this shift as well, a sense that things are no longer suspended in uncertainty but moving quietly toward clarity. Even if nothing has changed externally yet, your intuition may feel calmer, more observant, less reactive, as if it knows that whatever unfolds next will be rooted in sincerity rather than emotional chaos. They are aware now that approaching you requires presence, not performance, and that presence comes from being settled within themselves first. The internal noise that once made them hesitate has quieted, replaced by a simple awareness of what feels right, and that simplicity has been freeing. They've also accepted that honesty does not guarantee a specific outcome, but it does guarantee peace, and peace is something they are no longer willing to sacrifice for comfort or avoidance. This acceptance has shifted how they view risk, transforming it from something to fear into something to respect. Risk now feels like an honest step rather than a reckless leap. They are preparing not just words but energy, ensuring that when they do move forward, they do so with integrity, accountability, and emotional steadiness. This preparation has changed how they experience time, making them more patient but also more intentional, less likely to delay simply out of habit. The universe has been aligning external circumstances quietly, clearing emotional clutter, simplifying routines, creating pockets of space where honest communication could happen without interference. You are not meant to initiate or control this phase, because your role has already been fulfilled through your growth, your boundaries, and your willingness to choose yourself. That choice reshaped the entire dynamic, creating the conditions necessary for truth to mature rather than explode prematurely. The connection now exists in a different frequency, one that doesn't rely on intensity or uncertainty to feel alive, but on mutual grounding and respect. They recognize that whatever happens next will set a new tone, one defined by clarity rather than confusion. And that awareness has made them careful in the best way. They are no longer acting from fear of loss, but from respect for truth, and that distinction is crucial. This is the phase where inner alignment begins to seek outer expression naturally, without pressure, without force, simply because it is ready. Everything they have experienced so far has been preparation for this readiness, each pause allowing growth, each moment of silence clarifying value, each emotional wave teaching them how to stay present. Now the energy feels settled, stable, and capable of supporting honest action without collapse. You may notice that your own energy feels receptive yet strong, open yet protected, and that balance is exactly what allows truth to land safely when it arrives. This chapter is about convergence, about awareness meeting courage, about intention solidifying into readiness. Nothing here feels rushed because what is ready does not need to hurry, and what is true does not need to be forced. The universe is holding this moment gently, ensuring that when movement occurs, it is guided by understanding rather than impulse. Everything is aligning so that when truth is expressed, it carries weight, calm, and respect. This is the space just before something shifts externally, when decisions have already been made internally and are simply waiting for the right opening. The silence now is not avoidance, it is completion, the final settling before expression. And as this phase continues, the connection is being supported by patience, maturity, and mutual respect, preparing both hearts to meet whatever comes next with steadiness, honesty, and clarity. Everything now reaches the moment where what has been forming quietly inside finally begins to orient itself toward the outer world, because this stage is not about emotion anymore, it is about truth choosing expression, and your soulmate can feel that something fundamental has shifted that cannot be undone. The internal work is complete, the questioning has softened into understanding, and what remains is a grounded certainty that living honestly now matters more than protecting comfort or familiar patterns. They are aware that this connection has changed them in irreversible ways, not by overwhelming them, but by refining them, teaching them how to slow down, how to listen inwardly, how to recognize when something carries real meaning rather than temporary intensity. The awareness they carry now feels steady, almost calm, like standing on solid ground after a long emotional journey, and from that place, the idea of continuing in silence no longer aligns with who they have become. They understand now that silence once served growth, but growth eventually asks for truth, and that truth does not need drama to be powerful, it needs clarity and intention. They are no longer wrestling with indecision, because the decision has already been made internally, not as a rigid plan, but as a commitment to authenticity, whatever that authenticity leads to. Their thoughts about you feel different now, less charged with longing and more infused with respect, appreciation, and presence, as if they are finally seeing you clearly rather than through the lens of fear or hesitation. This clarity has changed how they imagine the future, not as a fixed outcome they must secure, but as a path they are willing to walk honestly, even if it requires vulnerability. They have accepted that honesty carries risk, but they have also learned that avoidance carries a greater cost, one they are no longer willing to pay. The universe has been reinforcing this readiness quietly, through moments of inner peace that arrive without explanation, through a sense of rightness that doesn't need validation, through a calm confidence that feels grounded rather than inflated. Distractions have lost their grip, old habits feel irrelevant, and what remains is a clear focus on what feels meaningful, authentic, and aligned. They are preparing to speak not from urgency or fear, but from a place of emotional maturity, where words are chosen carefully, not to persuade or impress, but to reflect truth. This preparation is not about crafting the perfect message, it is about aligning their energy with sincerity so that whatever is expressed carries integrity. They are aware that when truth is shared, it changes the dynamic permanently, regardless of outcome, and that awareness has made them intentional rather than hesitant. You may sense this shift as well, not as anticipation or anxiety, but as a quiet readiness, a feeling that something is aligning naturally without needing to be pushed. Your own energy may feel steady, open yet protected, grounded in self-respect rather than expectation, and that balance is precisely what allows honesty to land safely. The connection now exists in a space that feels different from before, less charged with uncertainty and more infused with mutual grounding, as if both sides have grown into a frequency where clarity can exist without chaos. They recognize that approaching you now requires presence, not performance, and that presence comes from being settled within themselves first. The internal noise that once clouded their judgment has faded, replaced by a simple awareness of what feels right, and that simplicity has been freeing. They have also accepted that truth does not guarantee a particular response, but it does guarantee self-respect. And self-respect is something they are no longer willing to compromise. This acceptance has transformed fear into discernment, allowing them to move forward thoughtfully rather than reactively. They are aware that whatever unfolds next will not be about recreating the past, but about acknowledging the present honestly, meeting growth with growth, and clarity with clarity. The universe has been aligning circumstances quietly, creating space where honest communication can occur without interference, without pressure, without emotional clutter. You are not meant to intervene in this phase, because your growth has already played its role, shaping the environment in which truth can emerge naturally. By choosing yourself, by honoring your boundaries, by remaining aligned with your values, you helped create the conditions necessary for this level of awareness to form. The connection now feels grounded enough to support honest expression without collapsing under expectation. They understand that love expressed from this place is not about possession or certainty, but about respect and authenticity. This chapter is about convergence, where inner alignment meets outer readiness, where intention solidifies into action without force. Nothing here feels rushed, because what is ready does not need to hurry, and what is true does not need to be exaggerated. The universe is holding this moment gently, ensuring that when words are spoken or actions are taken, they are anchored in understanding rather than impulse. Everything that has occurred so far has been preparation, each pause allowing growth, each moment of distance clarifying value, each emotional shift teaching presence. Now the energy feels settled, capable of supporting honesty without destabilizing what has been built. Whatever comes next will unfold from this foundation, shaped by patience, maturity, and mutual respect. There is a sense of inevitability here, not dramatic, but grounded, as if all paths have quietly led to this moment of readiness. The silence that remains now is not avoidance, but completion, the final integration before expression. And as this phase continues, the connection is being guided toward a truth that can be spoken calmly, received openly, and held with care, allowing whatever unfolds next to be rooted not in uncertainty, but in awareness, alignment, and emotional integrity.